News is gonna break. Just listening to Frank Black and the Catholics. Love that. Love that. Only because I was listening to the Pixies, because this is the anniversary of one of their record releases. That's all. And has to say, oh, come. I have to say that probably one of my favorite of all time band pictures ever is with the Pixies because it looks like an album cover. They did a big room and they were out front on the grass, kind of spread out, and we were all kind of spread out and just kind of stand there looking, everyone's kind of looking like this, like not paying attention, and the picture is just brilliant. I have to find that. It's on one of my hard drives somewhere. But absolutely one of my favorite of all time. Big rooms, as well as one of my favorite photographs for the band. And one of my favorite bands. Love the Pixies. And Frank Black. I got to hang out with Frank Black when he came through, when he did Frank Black and the Catholics. He hung around the radio station for like an hour or two and basically drank a lot of vodka with us. It was pretty awesome. Hang out, like, don't meet your heroes. I'm like, yeah, it's okay. Sometimes meeting your heroes is not a bad thing. Anyway, I digressed immediately, went right down that rabbit hole because I was listening to that music. So, welcome. Howdy do. Episode 115. And no break-in today. Yes. It's a streak now. It's a streak. And like 6 days to go? 86 days that I can not worry about break-ins at the building anymore? I can't wait. I mean, I can wait. I don't want to rush 90 days of my life away. That's not really how it works. I don't really want to do that. Just because that's, a lot. That's a lot. But anyway, yeah, that's amazing. September 23rd. This thing that's there, right? I'll just take that off there. I forget when it starts up, it sometimes puts that up there. So yeah, you know enough about that now, unless you're like new to this and you haven't been here in 115 days ever for me to be talking about my co-star / cameo role with Stephen He in Heinz Verified Day Tripping. So there it is. Yeah, go look at it. I'll comment. Blah, blah, blah. You know all that. This, Randsanity. Right. Yeah, subscribe to that. I'll get to that at some point too. I promise. I promise at some point I will. It's just, the issue being that I get up, I go to work, I do errands, I check on a building now, I work, I come home, I eat food, I do this. So that's it. Look, I'm even scruffy. I didn't shave today. That's my 5 o'clock shadow at 11 o'clock at night. Looking scruffy, like an old man with a bathrobe. No. Yeah. Gross. Not happening. Anyway, how's everybody doing tonight? Don't forget to hit, I'm just smacking shit around. Don't forget to hit like so that those likes rack up there because they're so important. I don't know. Nameless, faceless YouTube channels make millions. Well, maybe because my faceful YouTube channel has not garnered me that fame, fortune, or dollar success yet. So, but we have fun. Right? We have fun. Anyway, greetings and salutations, Todd. How are you this evening? Good to see you. Well, at least to be seen by you and know that you're out there in the ether. All right, so I got pages of stuff. I found all sorts of stuff today. 1, 2, 3, almost 4 pages of stuff. Start with births and deaths. Those are easy today. Not a lot. Born on this day, John Coltrane, jazz saxophonist. You know John Coltrane. Ray Charles, born on this day. You can read about Ray Charles. I could go into the accolades of Ray Charles and how many albums he has and stuff, and we'd be here for the entirety of the show. Same thing. The next one is Bruce Springsteen. Right. Same thing. I mean, I was just in Asbury Park. We saw the Stone Pony. I've seen Bruce at the Stone Pony many, many years ago. It's great. Bruce is great. If you like Bruce, great. If you don't like Bruce, great. That's okay. He's one of those guys that some people are just like, he's my God. I'm like, yeah, I like Bruce Springsteen. It's okay. But I'm not a devotee, if you know what I mean. Fair enough. Fair enough. And then, of course, Jason Alexander, George Costanza from Seinfeld. He also was the voiceover in a cartoon series called Duckman. If you like Jason Alexander and you're okay with cartoons, go watch Duckman. It is just, it is exactly what you think Jason Alexander would be if he was unhinged on Seinfeld, more so than he was. It's hilarious. Even if you just Google rants of Duckman. There's a couple of rants it's just, wow. Wow. I hope you had a script right in front of you because we memorized that stuff. Man, that's just beauty. It's just rants. Deaths on this day. Booker T and the MGs. Booker T passed away on this day. And Robert Hunter of the Grateful Dead. He was the lyricist. He's the guy who wrote a lot of the songs for the Grateful Dead. So yeah, without him, there wouldn't be all these Dead songs. So there you go. That was the Born and Dead today. I just skimmed through it. If they weren't really special, I was like, didn't bother because I had lots of other stuff. So let's start back with 1957. I'm going way back. And again, remember, no contiguous order. I go from era to decade to era to century to decade, just because I find it in, different locations. And there is no amalgam of this because one place says this, one place says this, one place tells me this much information, other place tells me this much information. So I try and find as much as I can and what I actually care about. Other times I'm like, yeah, and you'll find that out tonight because there's things I'm just like, no. But anyway, a band called The Crickets. He's not down here tonight. I've had Mr. Cricket down there the last few nights. Anyway, a band called The Crickets with the lead singer of Mr. Buddy Holly. There you go. We're number one in the U.S. today on this day, September the 23rd, for the song, which is kind of ironic, That'll Be the Day. And the next line is, That I Die. It was the group's only chart topper. Unfortunately, because Buddy Holly didn't live very long. His career was very much cut short. This was in 1957. He was dead 2 years later in a plane crash. Came out with a couple of songs, Peggy Sue and some others, but didn't really get to have a whole lot of chart toppers because he was gone at the age of 22. I didn't realize he was that young when he died in the plane crash. They chartered the plane and basically it crashed over takeoff. Him, the Big Bopper, some other people too, and that was the night old Dixie died. That was the music died. So there you go, Buddy Holly. Number one on this day, September 23rd, 1957, with That'll Be the Day That I Die. Maybe we should have had a better hit single. I'm just saying. Manifesting, ladies and gentlemen, manifesting. 1961, The Shadows, an all-instrumental rock group, which I was like, wait, really? All instrumental? So I went and listened to a couple of Shadows songs. Yeah, good one. Apache. Google it, listen to it. You'll thank me. All instrumental rock group with the self-titled debut album, The Shadows, went to number one in the UK in this day, Apache. They also had 69 other chart toppers, which I was like, what? I was like, are you kidding me? Apparently not. They've performed all the way into the 2000s, but no lyrics, all instrumental. Who knew? I didn't realize there was a band that could do that many. But yeah, it's sort of like, the Ventures, But yeah, listen to it. Like I said, The Shadows. Apache is a song that I was like, oh, I think I've heard this song before. It seems familiar. If it was number one, maybe that's why. I don't know. 1967, The Box Tops had a number one hit on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 chart with The Letter. And it was there starting today on the 23rd in 1967 for 4 consecutive weeks. Joe Cocker re-recorded that song and played it and performed it and again made it into the top 10 in the covers in 1970. Joe Cocker sung it. And again, made it right back up the chart. So my baby, she wrote me a letter. You've heard that song. I know you have. Unless, you're 13 and then you haven't. I get it. And you probably won't, so I don't care. And if you're 13, you're probably not watching this anyway, so fuck off. 1974, The Average White Band. Yes, that's actually the name of the band. And I was not shocked by it because I was like, oh, yeah, I know the band name. The Average Weight Band, founder and member, died of a heroin overdose at a Hollywood party. Now it just gets a little bit stranger. Apparently he was having fun and he saw a bunch of cocaine on a table and was like, ah, ran by and sniffed a big line of it. Apparently it was not cocaine. It was pure heroin. He wound up ODing and dying. So, as I've said before, don't do drugs, kids. Don't do drugs. Uh, Average White Band did have a #1 hit single, and it was nominated for a Grammy in 1975. Pick Up the Pieces was the song. So, yes, again, don't do drugs, kids. Don't do drugs. I mean, I guess, that's sort of like somebody pulled that right out of the John Travolta, episode. Remember when he bought the heroin? Someone decided that she would sniff it and then OD'd on it. Don't bring some OD chicken by your house. You got to remember the movie. Pulp Fiction. So maybe that's what there was. If you think about it, that's kind of the same thing right there. She throws cocaine, she OD'd, didn't die, had to take a stab in the chest. Apparently he did die. Again, don't do drugs, kids. Don't do drugs. 1969, Paul McCartney is dead. Well, according to the North Star newspaper in the Northern Star University, he was killed in 1966 in a car crash. And he had a doppelganger hiding him, his identity that he was dead for 3 years. It was picked up by, of course it was, a DJ, Russell Gibb out of Detroit, WKRN, and it went viral. I use the word viral because it's today and now, but it went worldwide. To the point where Mr. Paul McCartney, who was in Scotland at his farmhouse in seclusion, actually had to come out and say, I'm not dead. Okay? And when asked by a reporter, apparently you're not dead, his exact line was, do I look dead? I'm as fit as a fiddle. So no, I buried Paul. I am the Eggman. I am the Walrus. Goo Goo Jew. Once again, it is not true. Paul McCartney, not dead. Unless he got raptured today. Did he get raptured? Apparently, I did not because I'm still here. You didn't either if you're watching. So welcome to not being raptured. Hey, it was today. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Oh, Lord. 1968. While working on the set of the new songs for the forthcoming White Album, also the Beatles, Jim Morrison and company, the band The Doors, stopped by the studio and watched the Beatles record and perform for the White Album. Just one of those little quirky things. In 1966, the Rolling Stones 66, went on a 12-date tour, kicked off at the Royal Albert Hall in London. They were supported by Ike and Tina Turner, the Yardbirds, which Jimmy Page played along with Jeff Beck. And in the audience that day was Mr. Keith Moon and John Entwistle of The Who. So quite a famous gathering for the Rolling Stones in London on that day. Well, on this day, but just some years ago. Remember, it's all on this day. These are all things that happened this day. Just like in 1974, where John Lennon released Whatever Gets You Through the Night and became his first solo #1. Elton John was on piano and vocals in that song. I did listen to that song. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's a good song. Whatever gets you through the night. All right. Yeah, it's a great song. That's why no wonder it's #1. I can see that. There's other songs that I don't know how they got to be #1, and I don't care because I'm like, they suck. Not my musical taste. And you know what? Your musical taste may not be mine. That's okay. It really is okay. Promise. I got no hate. I'm so low on the hate scale. I've given it all away. Back to the Rolling Stones in 1977. They released their double live LP, Love You Live, and both top 5 in the UK and the US. I went and looked and I saw that's like 6 songs, 4 songs, 4 songs, 4 songs. Must have been long live songs to have 4 songs on one side. Not the Ramones playing like 17 songs in a side. No, they were just long songs. 1977, David Bowie debuted Heroes on September the 23rd, 1977. The songs fell flat and basically received little and no attention. It only got to like number 58 on the UK chart, and it didn't even chart in the top Hot 100 on Billboard in the United States. Not even make it, not even 99. Did not chart whatsoever. Over the years, though, Heroes, like wine, not in a bottle because it doesn't do anything, but like fine wine in a cask, it aged very nicely. And it has now been his second most covered song, alongside Rebel Rebel, as well as one of his most favored songs that he played at most tours, and associated with Bowie as one of his favored songs by audience members and listeners. But again, never charted, which I think is really interesting. He also even put out a promotional video for it. So there's actually the Heroes video for it, which is interesting because he like tried to push the crap out of this thing and it just failed to launch, which I don't understand, but I guess sure. Maybe at the time in 77 when he released it, it just didn't get there. It just happens. In 1978, the soundtrack for the movie Grease with John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John, who did most of the singing along with Richie Valens and some other people, but were heavily involved in the thing. It returned to number 1 in the U.S. Billboard 200. It topped the chart in UK. It was an international hit alongside the movie. Again, you know, Sandra Dee. Look at me, I'm Sandra Dee. I'm not even going to go to the next one. Pulp Fiction. Thanks, Todd. You're correct. It is Pulp Fiction. Good job. I had green onions on my grilled tuna in memory of Booker T. Nice. Very nice. Yes, Pulp Fiction. You were right. Sorry, I didn't look down. That is correct. Pulp Fiction. But I mean, hey, life imitates art, or art imitates life. So I'm thinking for that one. In 1978, the number 1 single in the UK was Dreadlock Holiday by 10cc. And now oddly enough, the song is about a lost, again, I just read this stuff. Don't hate me for it, okay? The song is about a lost white man in Jamaica. Funny thing is, though, it's actually based on true events of Justin Hayward of the Moody Blues and Eric Stewart of 10cc's, who actually got lost in Barbados and recanted the story, wrote the song, and this is the sort of the story of the song, and the song is the story of them being lost in Barbados. They just changed the names to protect the innocent, as they said in Dragnet. Can't make this stuff up. Speaking of Jamaica and reggae, Mr. Bob Marley performed his last live show in Pittsburgh, PA, on this date, September 23rd, 1980. He collapsed on stage, and if you remember, I talked about it just a couple of days ago, Marley collapsed while jogging in New York City Central Park. He did cancel all of his future dates, but he wanted to have one last live show, and that was today of history, 1980. Mr. Bob Marley, unfortunately, went on to not living much longer. He died 8 months later in May of 1981, succumbing to the cancer that he had fallen prey to. So we lost Bob Marley. I'll get to that in May, I'm sure. Anyway, 1989, Annie Lennox of the band The Eurythmics reached number 1 in the UK with her 7th titled album, We Are As One. I like the Eurythmics. Not my favorite band, but, you know, I'm not going to hate on them. As far as, you know, hating on other artists that I'll get to later. Not that I hate on. It's just, they're just not my thing. Okay, I guess that's where that's at. It's just not my thing. Okay, so it's like the cough button. See, remember I star in this. See, you didn't see me take a drink of my liquid that time. It was like hitting the cough button where it kind of delays time. That was just me not sitting there going. You can see me doing that. Okay. 1989, German duo Milli Vanilli, the lip sync kings of music, hit number one in the U.S. albums with North American debut, Girl You Know It. Girl You Know It's True. Also number one on this day was a single with Girl I'm Gonna Miss You. It was by the same band, Milli Vanilli. See, that's one of those things where it's like, I just put it in because it's humorous. I don't really find that to be, I wasn't really a fan of Milli Vanilli, but it's just like, yeah, they all lip synced and everybody lip synced, but these guys just got busted. We're like, yeah, we're lip syncing. What's the point? What's the problem? Milli Vanilli, we're vanilla. That's what we do. 1995, Oasis competition Blur, with their fourth LP, The Great Escape, tops the UK album chart with the band's first chart-topping single, Country House. I listened to that because I don't think I'd heard that one before. Yeah, I think I've heard it before. I was like, okay, Country House. Yeah, right. All right. Chart topper? Sure, I guess. I don't know, maybe. Just like Shadow, the Shadows. Chart topper? I was like, okay, I guess so. Apache. Again, an instrumental band reaches number one. I mean, there are a lot of weeks in the day and days in the year and years that go by. So sure, why not? You figure out 365 days to have a single hit. 10 years, 3,000 days, 20 years. Yeah, that's a lot. 25 years, you got 10,000 different songs that could be there. So why not? You can have a single on a day. Fair enough, right? Speaking of more Jamaicans, Jamaican singer Shaggy went to number one on the UK single chart on this day, September the 23rd, with Boom Bastic. Now, I know you've heard that song. Again, unless you're 13, then just go listen to it anyway because you'll laugh. Mr. Boombastic. It's like, I'm like, yes. Right when I saw that, I'm like, yes, of course I know that song. I think we even played it because there's samples of it and everything else. Mr. Boombastic. It's kind of fun. And again, as reggae songs go, sure, why not? They don't all need to be, The Tide is High by Blondie. Wait, that's coming up next? In 2005, Justin Timberlake. In 2006, Beyonce. In 2021, Ed Sheeran. In 2017, the number one album on this day, September the 23rd, American Dream by LCD Sound System. I just saw them perform at the See Here Now Music Festival a couple of weeks ago in Asbury Park, New Jersey. Hence where I got to see the Stone Pony as I walked by every day, 2 times a day, going to and from. They played the song Tonight, which is from that album. That was actually their third song they played in the set in Asbury Park a couple weeks back. They also had a really good set list. I did pull that up. Hold on, because I did grab that because I was like, wait, I had the LCD Sound System set list, and here it is. It started with Tribulations, Movement, Tonight, North American Scum, which, I mean, come on, you can't not love that one. I Can Change, which is Kraftwerk's, and they did the Model Info. X-Ray Eyes, New Body Rumba, Someone Great, Dance Yourself Clean, New York, I Love You, But You're Bringing Me Down, and All My Friends. So it was a great set by LCD Sound System at the See Here Now Festival. We went and saw LCD Sound System. The last time I saw them was in New York City at Brooklyn Steel when Mace was still alive and the radio station still existed. We went and saw them when they were doing one of their, was like 8 shows I think they did in a row or something. Maybe it was more than that. But it was great. It was such a good, cool venue too. Brooklyn Steel is just a very concert built friendly. Like it was built specifically to be a live music venue. The stage moves, like it moves into the room, so they can shrink the room by moving the stage closer or moving it back in the actual building. It's very cool, very industrial. All the bathrooms are like diamond plate steel. The railings are all steel. They've got like a trough at the bottom, so if you spill your drinks, they don't fall down, which is smart. I mean, come on. Wouldn't you make a venue waterproof? That way if people are spilling stuff on the second floor, it's not dumping onto the soundboard on the first floor. Just saying. That would be smart. But yes, great set. LCD sound system. Number 1 on this day in 2017 with American Dream. Go check it out. 1978, speaking of Blondie, see, there was a segue. It just was one thing away. Her third LP is number 1 in the UK in 1979, number 6 in the US. In 2008, they sold over 20 million copies of it. Heart of Glass is on it. Parallel Lines. Really, really great Blondie LP, Parallel Lines. Love that one, 1978 Blondie, and really good musician and great album. So no wonder they sold 20 million. Duh. Also, 1991, released on this day, Screamadelphia, Primal Scream. No accolades for that. I mean, it was very much a change, though. Listening to it, it was definitely a very different sound for what Primal Scream had been before. It definitely is a change of their character and their sound by this one. So definitely a new direction was taken during this 1991 release. 1977 release, The Clash. Single, Complete Control. It only reached number 28 on the charts. Also on this day, the single by The Who. Come on. I was looking at it. I specifically saw it coming. And I still didn't get to preempt it. Just bad timing. I'm just really crappy at this. Pilot error, once again. I really need to work on this. What I'll have to do is maybe I'll just change cameras. It's just that one seems to be jumpy. It makes like, if I get too close, it autofocuses and does something weird with the light sensor. Maybe I'll do it after the show tonight. I'll just change it. Watch it not work. I'll be like, that means you have to change lenses and all those things. And then after 20 minutes, I can never use that camera, though, because I'd have to walk off camera to do it. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll just have to be more mindful. Anyway, The Clash, I did that one. The Who released 515 from the album from Quadrophenia. Also a movie of the same name. It only made it to number 20 in the UK and number 45 in the US. It was also part of the movie and soundtrack of Quadrophenia. 1977, Steely Dan released Asia. The AJA, not ASIA. Asia FM. That's got. Sixth studio album, only reached number 3 on the charts. Steely Dan. 1985, The Smiths. Yes. They released the single, The Boy with the Thorn in His Side. It reaches number 23 from the third LP, The Queen is Dead, released in 2003. Morrissey himself said, "This is my favorite Smiths song." Huh, there you go. Morrissey has an opinion on something. I mean, shocking, right? And an opinion on his own stuff, even better. But yes, he thinks that is his favorite song. Fair enough. All right. 2002, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers released The Last DJ, the single, and also the album of the same name. It only reaches number 22 on the charts. I mean, I could see that. It's not my favorite of the Tom Pettys. Love the Tom. Oh, no, stop. I'm not meaning to end the stream. What does it do that? I got to be more careful when I drop my stupid book on that, right? Okay, right there. Up.